Raistlin will be tested many times in his life of woe, but this one will probably be the one that defines him, in my humble opinion. Oh, and I found out the true reason why such a young man of 20 was to take this grueling test was because the head of the White Robe Mages, Pa Salin, felt that he needed someone to combat the spreading evil and dragon armies blighting the land. Thus, on their way to Weyreth, on the outskirts of Haven, Raistlin met up with 3 elves named Liam, Micah, and Renat, and in conversation they offered Raistlin a job. It was to enter a shop of mageware owned by his friend, Lemuel, and help rob it of his treasures. Initially, Raistlin wanted to warn his friend of this sin, but then the elves preyed on the wizard's lust for power and told him that there was a secret spellbook hidden in the shop too. This convinced Raistlin to thus turn from friendship and help the elves in their less than moral endeavor. Now, all this was going well until Raistlin entered the shop's basement by himself, and this was when he met the evil lich known as Fistandulus. Now, I am not a mage, and thus for reasons unknown to me, Raistlin then realized that this was all part of the Test of High Sorcery, and that the elves were actually dark elf mages who would kill him for even talking to Fistandulus. Fistandulus then offered Raistlin a bargain, part of his life force in exchange for the power to defeat the elves and pass the test. Raistlin accepted, and Fistandulus, in keeping with his promise, taught Raistlin a spell before unlocking the basement door and allowing the elves to attack, which they did by casting a fireball. Not quick enough to avoid the spell, Raistlin put his hands up in futile defense, but instead of burning him to a crisp, the fire burst around him and left him unharmed. Getting over his shock, he then used the spell the lich taught him and killed all 3 of his attackers. The battle over, Raistlin was relieved but shocked to realize his skin had turned golden, the result of a magical armor that had protected him from the fireball. The armor apparently of his own making, as Fistandulus adamantly denied it was of his doing, that being a mistake on the lich's part, as then Raistlin knew that his armor would protect him against the lich's power to take his life force, and thus he reneged on his bargain and started to leave. Unable to do anything about it, Fistandulus shouted at Raistlin that should his armor ever have a crack, he would be there to take the life promised to him. Suddenly, Raistlin was magically warped to the Tower of Weyreth and was attacked from the back with a knife that would have killed him, were it not for a twist of his body that turned it into a severe wound. It was one of the elves, Liam, who had survived Raistlin's killing spell somehow. Gaining sudden strength, Raistlin overcame the wounded elf and killed him with his own blade, after which he noticed that the blade was covered in poison and passed out. But he did not die and awoke amid weakly to find his twin Kyrnn coming to pick him up. Kyrnn wanted to just take Raistlin away from the test and to safety. This though only made Raistlin feel weak and scornful. Then the floating head of Fistandulus appeared and wanted what was owed to him. Raistlin prepared a final spell that he knew would take the rest of his energy and kill him. But suddenly, Kyrnn conjured out lightning bolts that struck the lich's apparition, and it disappeared. This left Raistlin in awe, and Kyrnn informed his twin that he always had the ability to do it, but since he preferred swordplay, never showed his magical traits. Raistlin then went berserk, shouting that magic was the only thing he always had against his perfect brother, but now he did not even have that. Fueled by anger and hate, Raistlin put his hands together to cast a spell. Jealousy flowed through his body, and it came out as flames from his hands, engulfing Kyrnn and killing his twin brother. Now, an unfortunate end for one of the twins. But what is next for the flawed wizard? Well, find out next time, and next fire. Till next word.